stuff. Here we go. Hey, everybody, this is Trisha Turpinoff. I'm here with Ron Ben Joseph. He is a content creator and storyteller coach. He's the man that will help you when you want to get up on stage. How you doing, Mr. Ron?
Oh my God, Trisha, I'm just like I'm sitting here. I love you so much. Like I was saying, I'm so happy to see you. It's been a while. It's
I know.
yeah.
Thank
I
God the pandemic's coming out. It's just good to see you.
I know. And actually, I'm gonna. This is a side note. I'm gonna be in Colorado Springs like on Friday actually. So what? Like I'm just saying.
Oh my gosh. All right, we're going to have to talk about that afterwards. So,
Yeah, yeah.
yes. So, I got it. So, you guys, this, as you know, this is Listen, Learn, and Leverage. This is where we expose your blind spots and we help you grow your entrepreneurial business because I'm sure we all know speaking coaches, but there is only one Ron Ben Joseph who helps you with your content creation and storytelling. And isn't that what we hear about all the time? So, Ron, tell us, like, how do we get better at talking about ourselves?
Yeah, see, I think talking about ourselves is the biggest is if I had to pick one biggest hurdle, that kind of encapsulates all sorts of other things that we have, like other blocks and constrictions. I would say it manifests itself really for a lot of businesses in talking about ourselves. And especially I work. I mean, 99% of my business is women, so
Yeah.
um, a lot of my clients haven't were not told growing up that it's okay for them to talk about themselves, and it was
Right.
called bragging, and don't brag, and all these things, right?
Right.
So, so for them, the nature of sharing their greatness and sharing how they help others, which is a really positive in service kind of thing,
Yeah.
wasn't innate, and it wasn't an entitlement.
Right.
And so this is a big thing. So the best way to get better at speaking, whether it be on stage, a lot of it now is virtual, right? We have a lot of virtual conferences and speaking opportunities, or videos or podcasts or any of these things.
Right.
The key is, I think, to really have a sense of what you're about, your belief, what your values are, and all that, as they relate to how they help someone else.
Right. Oh, I think that's awesome.
It's huge, right? And so, like, I'm not getting political, but I have clients on and friends on all sides of like all sides of the aisle and all these things, right?
Right.
And so, but what I found when I work with any one of them, if we don't have beliefs that are 100% the same, and it doesn't matter, because I think if you have values that are in alignment with how they help others and they are in service of others, I think that you will find your audience and you
Yes.
will be in service to them, and it's important, it's valuable, it's
Right.
crucial. Does that make
Well, and
sense? So
exactly. Well, I think what's really important is that what I have found, especially, I think it's been even more pronounced during these last 15 months, is that vulnerability is powerful. And
yeah.
it's really important. People want to know your story. They want to understand because then they relate to you. And sometimes like cute posts and cute videos, they don't grab that ideal client, but when you're vulnerable, all of a sudden you're relatable, and that changes people quickly.
100%. And I think that vulnerability is in service of someone else who might be blocked and wants to see the release, right? So again, it's like there's some people that just share, like, I have a hard time when I see people online sharing just like pictures of themselves crying. Where they're like, "Look, I'm just being vulnerable." And it's just they're just kind of dropping it. It's like that friend that just keeps texting you like, "Hey, look what I'm doing." I I
No.
like make it engaging, right? Like
Right.
move it along. Now there are people, I know a lot of people that do sometimes they're having a hard time and they go, I need some help or some, and they're like, "Listen, this is where I'm at." Okay, but that makes someone else feel that they're helpful, right?
Yes.
So that you're in service to someone. So even I had a divorce moment. I was really sick this weekend,
Aw.
and thank my co-parent's awesome. She took the child and everything, but I didn't get to see her for a couple of days because I had a stomach
Aw.
bug.
Yeah.
And like 2 days of like laying on the couch, I started getting really sad, and I'm like, I'm gonna go listen to a podcast about being a single dad, and because I was
Oh.
like, I'm a horrible dad. All the junk in my head was playing.
Ah.
And I found a guy and he's talking, and it was so sincere, and he talked about his divorce story, and he was vulnerable, but he kept saying, how many of you guys have gone through this? Do you guys know what I mean? How do you feel about that when you're going through? He kept bringing it back to the audience, and that
Right.
to me is the perfect balance of vulnerability with purpose and with service to
Exactly.
others.
I
right?
love that. Oh, totally. There's got to be, to me, the end message has got to be, here's how you can overcome this, or here's what I did to overcome it, or here's some tools for you. There's got to be, it can't just be, like you said, somebody crying. Yeah, there's got to be a solution for your audience so that they stay engaged with you. So, what would you say? Well, because when I say the word vulnerability, people like squeeze their butt cheeks together. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like a oh my gosh moment. So what are the biggest fears that about people sharing that content?
When it comes to being vulnerable or just in general?
I would say speaking in front of people.
I think a big thing that we hear a lot about now, again, on the flip side, is, and that's why I had to bring up the fact that, like, again, friends, clients on all sides of the aisle, because there is
I
one of the biggest things that I've seen, uh, and I bring this up with people that I love that don't believe in the same political structure that I believe in,
Sure.
have been, I've seen horrible things happening to them online when they posted their beliefs.
I know.
Right.
Right.
So to me, I think a big fear is I want to post something, but I'm scared, or I want to share a video or something that I believe, that I feel, but I'm
Right.
scared that I'm going to get just swarmed with negativity on whatever side of the
Yeah.
aisle, or even it's something that you wouldn't even think is divisive. I've had clients get kicked out of Facebook for saying orange or chicken. No, chicken. Someone, my I have a client who she does she oh god, she has an amazing podcast. It's called uh The Flavor Remedy with Sherry Hess.
Oh,
Um it's
I
a
love Sherry.
Sherry Hess, yeah. So Sherry Hess is a great example. I don't know if I should be outing her, but she had a situation when she posted something like an ingredient. She talks about spices. She posted an ingredient, and an online social media thought that she's trying to sell something. She wasn't, you know. So like again, that's an example. People are afraid of putting themselves out there and getting shut down or canceled somehow. There's that threat. So I go again.
Interesting.
So it's a very intense time. I think that's one of the biggest fears that people have now, which is a legitimate concern. And so I think being
Right.
clear about who your audience is, where you can I don't know if she wanted me to say that story, but I'm just saying, like, now I feel bad. But sorry, Sherry.
Now
But
she's the chicken lady
now she's the
forever.
chicken lady. But she's amazing. And listen to the Flavor Remedy. It's an
Oh,
amazing podcast.
she is
Like,
amazing. I'm writing that down.
she's what she's doing is so cool.
Yeah, it
But
is.
so that's a shout out. So, um, the but I think the fear of getting like your words misconstrued and taken away from you is a fear that we all have throughout history, but now it's exacerbated. So I think the clearer you are with your message, maybe outlining in advance. You don't have to script it, but outlining in advance. And again, always keeping it about the audience member, always keeping it about that one person whose life you want to
Yes.
affect and
Right.
impact. That takes the spotlight off of you and makes it about them.
Right.
And that's what I found is the big thing to kind of shift the dial, right?
Yeah,
So
that's really true.
and I've had people tell me that that's like I've had other public speaking coaches be like, well, that's curtailing or that's kind of kowtowing or whatever it is. That's like being a wuss. And I'm just like, you know what? I've been on stage in various capacities as a comedian, as a speaker, and the last thing I personally want to do is alienate an audience. So
Right.
like
So
I go, yeah,
you're getting them prepared. I mean, being prepared for what you're going to say. Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I don't ever get on. Yeah, I don't ever get on without knowing somewhat of, at least have an outline. I've got bullet points at the very least.
And that outline is in service of your audience, right? So it's like
Exactly.
knowing you're pre-planning and pre-staging what you think they can handle, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so I would say that helps kind of smooth over that possibility of getting shut down or canceled or yelled at or whatever,
Exactly.
you know?
Well, and that's just one of the ways they can empower themselves as well. I mean,
Yeah.
talk a little bit. What are some other ways they can empower themselves to create good content?
So good content. So and I'm giving a presentation on this today in person, which I'm excited about. I'm getting back to life.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm wearing my mask
I
and
love
gloves
it.
and yeah. I'm
Oh,
gonna wear masks for years. I just want to put that out there. I know people hate. I love people that hate masks. I'm no disrespect. Like I said, people. I love the mask. It's me. It's a
I
personal preference.
exactly. I respect whatever you want to do. It's none of my business. You know
Right.
what I mean? It's like whatever you want to do, like go ahead. If you want to, I had a friend who stayed in for the whole 15 months because she was 65. And I'm like, and her daughter's in nursing and so's her son-in-law. And I was like, man,
Uh,
whatever you want. Can I still come over and sit outside with you? And she's like, yep,
right. I know. I feel like
yeah,
yeah. Like I same thing. Like I saw a woman at Walmart last night. I think without a mask, and I was excited. I was like, I know. I was like, yeah, like I swear to God, I'm not just being cute. I'm just like, yeah. Like I was like gonna high five her. I was like so excited. You know. I was like, this is great. Like I'm all about like I respect. Again, I just do what you feel comfortable with. Um,
exactly.
like I know people that go to they've gone to restaurants all year, and I'm like, thank you. Like thank
Good
you
for
for
you.
keeping the economy going. Like it's great.
Exactly.
I haven't, but like power to you. It's
You have
everyone's
a little
comfort.
kid,
Right. She's
I mean, when you've got little kids, you don't know what, they don't get it a lot, but when they do, I mean, why chance it? It's just not worth it.
it's yeah. Again, it's personal preference, right?
It
Like to each
is.
their
It's
own.
personal respect, and I respect people's personal preference. So, anyway, I
100%. So
digress.
sorry, I digress. I know we're just passionate. We're
That's
passionate
okay.
people.
We are. So,
Um.
content, how
Oh
to
yeah,
we
how to make good
empower
content.
ourselves to
So so once you're clear about that audience member and what their struggle is, I always say like what are the biggest things that would help them. So what are the things standing in the way of them getting what they want? Come up with, the top 3 or top 5 things that they're dealing with, and then
right,
match that with the things that you catch yourself talking about with your clients all day long. So for me, content creation or how to do a solo podcast episode. So I do a lot of podcast directing and coaching.
yeah,
How to come up with that solo episode? Because like I know with myself, like I have a show and I do interviews. So because like for me, when I try to do a solo episode, it doesn't sound good in my voice. I think, but I've spoken to a lot of people that have a real hard time with that solo, but they want to do it. They want to do like a mini, like a 10-minute learning session, So I'd
right.
say think about the conflict, like what is the thing that is standing in the way of your client getting what they want, and come up with 3 tools that can resolve that problem.
Ooh,
That's it. That's the outline that we use. So
that's awesome.
that's how you come up with content, whether it be a speech, a video. You can think about a video, maybe take one of those tools and go, hey guys, today I'm going to talk to you about one thing you can do to create better content, or to be prepared on a photo shoot, or to how to light if you're doing, I don't know the but like
Right.
how to
No,
regardless, right? Like what to wear, what kind of color, whatever it is.
right.
Like for me, it's the smile. I've learned that my upper lip is it's too aggressive, like it goes over the gums. So for me, it's like I would love to see a Trisha Turpinoff like how to smile for a photo shoot, like a headshot. Like
Oh,
I don't know,
there you
that
go.
was kind of creepy,
Get your
but
little sly on. Okay.
my Sly, absolutely. Oh, not Sly Stallone. Okay, sorry.
You're so funny. I
Hey, I'm
like
a
your
huge.
smile. It's real. That's what people see when oh, stop it. We're way too hard on ourselves, whether it be in photography or speaking. It's true. Well, and talk about like
Yeah.
storytelling. Like how can you use storytelling to really engage your audience?
I love this question. Thank you, Trisha. Like, I love this question. So, I know there's a lot of phenomenal storytelling coaches out there, and they're brilliant at piecing, like, okay, for this part of the speech, tell a story about that. And for this part, so I
Mhm.
do it a little differently. I love that. Like, for me, though, I think that your whole presentation, whether it be podcast episode, speech, video, podcast, or I said podcast, whatever it is, webinar even, I think all of that, I'll use a webinar as an example. Webinars that are typically trying to get you to buy the bigger package, right? So 45-minute like virtual courses, right? So I
Mhm.
think a webinar as an example of like a story, how to use it. So I always think about one story, one trajectory. A story is really just it's an organization of ideas in a chronological format that makes sense in our brains, right? Beginning, middle, and end. I always say start with like setting up a conflict, fighting to resolve it, and then what the resolution looks like. So a webinar can be a story as well, where there's a conflict that your audience member is experiencing. They want something is standing in the way of them getting it. Then we go to the middle part, which is the tools to fight to get to that ending, to get what they want. They overcome
Right.
that challenge, and then at the end, they get it. And what does life look like? So you're teaching them how to do that.
I love that.
Um, there's a lot of people that do webinars where it's actually out of the 45 minutes, it's 37 minutes of them talking about how successful they are, 2 minutes of telling you that you should buy something from them, 5 minutes, I'm not good at math, but 5 minutes of them talking about what's wrong with you, and then 17 extra minutes of them trying to sell you something, and at no point did you learn anything. That's my opinion. But I think stories could
I
be
don't like
much
that.
more interesting. And I know, right? Have you've seen those, right?
Mhm.
Like I think people that are experts don't do that. People that are actually seriously interested in teaching you something, they pack them in with knowledge. Um,
Right.
but we're like, but a lot of people don't. But so I think having an overall story arc could
Yeah.
look. I always say there's three options. Use your story, like how you came from not knowing how to do this thing to knowing how to do this thing,
Right.
or how you had a problem, like you had a fear issue or a mind block or something, and how you overcame that to get to the end results. And then each learning component along the way is your own discovery. So it's like it happened to you by discovery. So you're not just mansplaining. You're not just like, okay, you need to do this, you need to do that, and you need to do this. Like I can't listen to that. It doesn't work in my brain. I want to know the
Right.
arc of how you got to that.
Yeah.
Or another example is maybe like an amalgam, or say, my clients had this. I'm going to talk to you about my client Trisha. My client Trisha started here. What we did was we worked on this, this, and that. She then tried this. Then we tried that. Then we did this. Then she eventually got to here, and it was amazing. Boom.
Yeah.
I love that. That's cool, right? Then the
Yeah.
third option always surprises me. With that, I'm always like, with the third option, I was like, is she gonna take it? Is she gonna take it? And it's always the people that like blow my mind. My ex-wife just went for it. She just did the third option. She worked with me on a speech that she was giving,
Yeah.
and she chose the third option. I was like, no way. She loved it. Like I was like, this is so cool. The third option is creating a character, a fictional
Oh,
character, where it's based on your experience, based on your client's experience, but it's someone that you could follow all the way through. So
interesting.
you see this a lot in corporate training, actually. Jennifer started at the bottom. Jennifer did these three things, and then she got to the top. Like you know, time where
Right.
it's like stock footage of Jennifer. But I think we can be more creative than that. But using
Right.
one character, like a Luke Skywalker or a Moana. Someone said to me recently, they're like, know your audience. You're talking to women. Like, don't just use Luke Skywalker. Um, but like a Moana who starts with a dream of wanting to sail and be, a hero, and how she goes on this journey, and by the end of it, she gets there.
Right.
Right? And so you're in the Moana story. I guess you'd be the grandma, maybe? I don't know, or Maui. I don't know. It'd be a big, but uh, like you want to be the guide in that story.
Yeah.
So you say, so the way I worked with Moana was this, this, and that, and then she got here. That's how I use story with any of these contents, so that
That's
it's one
cool.
big story.
Yeah. Well, and so when we're talking about story points, like what do you need to incorporate to keep that audience listening?
Great question. So when I used to teach inner city, I used to teach speech at like inner city colleges in Chicago.
Yeah.
So it was like
Oh, wow.
tough areas. Yeah,
Tough
like
area.
Maywood and like South Sides. It was rough. And the students were amazing. I loved them.
Oh,
But
I'm
so
sure.
I'd come in on the days of on the day that we would talk about speech outlines. I would come in and be like, "You guys, and I would say the F word on the effing way over here," and I would freeze. I'd be like, like that. Every single student would look up from their phone eventually. Like the longer I paused, the longer I didn't like say anything, they would like. And to be fair, because on the way over there, I mean, like every day, like there was police tape around houses, like there was always stuff going on.
Yeah.
So they were
Mhm.
like, wait, did someone I know maybe get something happen, right? But when I
Right.
set up a conflict, right? I didn't even have to finish that statement. They were engaged. Whatever I was about
Right.
to say, and I was like, "No,
Mhm.
I'm just messing with you." And they were like, "Oh, come on!" They would get like another jerk just messing with us. And I was like, "I'm sorry, you guys don't need that in life," but I
I
did
love
it.
that.
But the
Well, I love,
conflict, yeah, sorry.
right. No, go ahead.
It's why we stop. It's why there's traffic when you see the car on the side of the highway, right? You're like, what happened over there?
You
It's
gotta
it's
look.
why we gotta look, and it's like it's why we're still on some level, if they're not toxic. Like we all have that friend that is. I think I think this is fair. Like if you've done personal development work, you still have one friend that is very dramatic, that always has stuff going on, but they're not like toxic to you. They're not evil.
No,
So you keep them
no.
because it's like, what are they gonna say? You know, like what is this person? I have one, and I'm just like, when they call, I'm like, oh my god, what are they gonna say? You know, like what's gonna happen? Like I'm so excited about their world. You know,
You're terrible.
I know I feel bad about saying that, but I feel like I've ruined my whole business today. But I'm just kidding. But it's the conflict is what always keeps us coming back. And if you set
Right,
up a clear conflict up front and everything
right,
you do is to aid and support that conflict,
right.
people are gonna wait for that ending. And
Yes.
I first started seeing this in the speeches I was coaching and directing, um, because people do speeches and they have big lofty ideas in the beginning of the speech, but by the time that they write the middle and end, they've lost their flavor, that's their speed, and they don't deliver on the
Right.
promise. So my
Gotcha.
clients, everything we do, we always go, are we delivering on the promise in the beginning? And we have to bake it in and raise the stakes, increase
Right.
the intensity, and increase the engagement throughout by being clear about that one solid conflict thread.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. Well, tell us, what do you have to offer our peeps today?
Well, for your peeps today, I have a very exciting for the peeps today, I would love to offer if they have like a podcast that they've been dreaming
Mm,
about, or certainly now they want to get out and start. I know a lot of groups are meeting again in person and everything, and they want to start doing more. I mean, or they could virtual, but like if they want to start teaching more, transferring their skills from being one on one to one to many,
right.
or podcasting or videos or whatever. Like, let's get on a call. I'll do a 30-minute complimentary consultation, and
Awesome.
we'll start playing, like I call it like an audition for me. Like I'll audition for you and see if we're a good
Oh,
fit, and
yeah.
if I can make something from your ideas. Like I love your ideas. Like throw them down.
Right.
Like no ideas too crazy. If you're cool, if you're nice, throw it down, and I'll see if I can go. Oh my god, this is gonna be phenomenal. And here's an outline. Here's what it could look like.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I like that. Auditioning. That's a good way to say that.
I always say it. I'm
You
like,
do. It's
I'm like,
funny
can I audition for you?
that I love that. That's awesome. Well, I put your information into the live show. And so, yeah, everybody get in touch with Ron. He's awesome at what he does. I love you've just come such a long way. It's so fun to see all of us grow and continue to change. It's just so fun.
And to be a part of a community like that you're in, like to me, it's it's astounding. So thank you, Trisha, thank you
Oh
for
my
your
gosh.
show. I love your
You're
show. Like
welcome.
you're doing
Oh,
amazing work.
thank you. I appreciate it. Well,
Yeah.
thanks again, Ron. And thank you to our listeners for Listen, Learn, and Leverage. This is where we expose your blind spots and help you grow your entrepreneurial business. And get in touch with Ron. Mwah. I'll talk to
Mwah.
you soon.
Trisha.
Bye.